Okay, numbers are slowly ticking up. I think we started maybe 30 seconds early, but we shall get going properly just now. Okay, let's kick this off. So welcome everyone to this edition of Hospitable's Town Hall. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that we've got people across the States and elsewhere in the world joining us today, so feel free to let us know in the chat whereabouts you're joining from. Always interesting to find out that. So as usual, start off with a couple of our usual housekeeping updates. So we are live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, in case you've not already seen that. And we're also recording. So if you miss anything today, you will be able to watch that back on YouTube if you so wish. We are going to kick off today with product updates. We're going to skip the usual company updates so that we have a bit more time at the end for Q&A. So once I've stopped rambling on, I'll hand over to Andrew to kind of talk about direct and product updates there. And then Emily will also provide some product updates. And then following that, we will do a Q&A session. So as always, please feel free to use the Q&A functionality at the bottom of your screen, just down there. You can type in your questions and our team will try to get to most of those as possible. Also, when we get to the end of the session, you'll be able to use the raise hand function, which is hidden in the reactions section. And that will allow you to come on stage when we get to that section of the session. So without further ado, I'm now going to hand over to Andrew, who's going to provide some product updates.
Cool. Thank you. Let's start off with some updates on direct. A few small things first, and actually one item for a small number of people, which is a big thing. So we had right now payment details. We're getting what should be all of the line items of a transaction are now going to be visible in the inbox and the calendar when you click on details. So the last two things that were missing was the guest service fee and a total paid by guest. That's now in there. One thing from the last town hall, I think there was a question about how to control the sequencing of the images on your direct sites. We made one small update on that. That actually was possible. You can just drag and drop the images from your property details section. What we did is we made that not break the Airbnb sync. So all of your property details, we're going to pull that information from your Airbnb listing. And then if you edit that, we'll normally break the sync. What we did is we made it not break. If you just want to change the order of your images, that first image is going to be your feature image for your property. We make that work now without breaking the sync, which I think some of you probably don't want to do. So we'll continue to pull in new images from Airbnb, but you can control the sorting and therefore the sequencing of those images on your site. And then we fixed a couple of places where we were still using, I think, the property name and not the public name of your property. That was showing up on the booking widget, really small. Thank you for whoever caught that. We missed that. And then also in some of the emails that we were sending out, we were still using the property name, which was not what should have been happening. So that's been fixed. And then for anyone on a Wix site, shout out to Ben, who just jumped on this week and got it fixed. If you have a Wix site, we were not able to work with you with our booking widget. We fixed that. There's a workaround. And so if you go to your Hospitable Help Docs now, just search Wix, you'll find the article that gives you clear instructions on how to get that set up. So you can now use the Hospitable booking widget on your Wix sites. The big update for this week is promo codes. Next slide, please. These launched since the last town hall. I think we were talking about them last town hall, but they weren't live yet. You can now set these up. They're live for all direct customers, basic or premium. You can set up multiple promotions. You can set up multiple codes within a promotion. So you can track the performance of individual codes if you're using email campaigns, Facebook campaigns, etc. And then once you have an active promotion scoped to a property, when people go to your direct booking widget, so they'll work on custom sites as well, they'll see this I have a discount. You'll see in the left image. They can click on that. They'll have an entry field. They enter the code in. And then if it validates any restrictions you set, be it a minimum number of nights before it qualifies, etc., then we'll apply that code. Right now we're doing fixed rate codes, and we're going to work on percentage codes pretty soon after that. Update on Google Vacation Rentals. Next slide, please. Still not live, unfortunately, but we got, I think, what should be the last remaining roadblock. We had some pushback on, I think, the pricing sync with Google. The way we do taxes and fees is a little bit different. We did finally crack that issue, and we now have the pricing sync running. So we just have a little bit more time to do. Here's some proof from screenshots. We've got people have scoped 917 properties now to Google Vacation Rentals. So those properties are 100% ready to go. We just have to pass the pricing sync audit. So if you do go to direct and you've got yourself set up, you can start scoping your properties ahead of time to Google Vacation Rentals. And those will go live as soon as we get done with this pricing audit. Hopefully it doesn't take more than end of next week. But yeah, we're kind of, every time we submit something, we just need to see if Google is going to accept it or not. And we need to just kind of react, but we're close. We're very close. Last update, just things we're working on, things that are upcoming. We did kind of switch to look at house rules real quick, especially to protect people from, I think, damage claims, things like that. We didn't have that information prominently. It's not on some templates. So we wanted to standardize that. We're going to be adding a footer to all the direct sites. So on every page of the booking flow, you're going to be able to see, for premium, you'll see the premium terms and conditions. You'll see cancellation policies for all direct sites, and you'll see house rules if you have them. So those will get pulled in from Airbnb. We're going to let you edit those in the properties page, and we'll give full acknowledgement of those. I think we'll probably start sending them out to the guests too, maybe in the booking confirmation, send them a copy of house rules, just making sure that we're doing a good job communicating those. So if you do have a complaint or an issue, we can say we did do our job of communicating those. The other thing we're working on is improved payout history. So that's been a pretty simple page, I think. We're going to start tracking transactions within a reservation. Right now, it's just kind of a single line item for a reservation, but any adjustments that are going to be happening, cancellations, refunds, etc., we want to track those and give a bit better visibility there. We're also going to give you some metrics on that page so you can see your current balance, your payouts over the last 30 days, and your payouts over the next 30 days. And yeah, still in progress with Instant Book for Direct Basic. That should be out next week. We just had some developers go on holiday that we're almost done with that item, but couldn't push it before vacation. And then the major projects we're working on is the ad hoc fees and refunds, quotes, and midterm stay improvements. So those are all kind of the next, 6 to 10 weeks kind of timeline for rolling out the major new feature updates for direct. And that's me. Pass it to Emily for the rest of the product updates.
Cool. Thanks, Andrew. Hey, everybody. All right, it's time for my bi-weekly Smart Lock update, which I know you're all very excited about. I'm going to share a lot of the same information that I've been sharing in previous weeks, but I do think it's important to kind of report on our progress either way. So if you're bored of hearing about this, just tune out for the next minute or two. For those of you who are interested, here's what's going on. So we are midway through the process of migrating our Schlage integration from an old integrating partner to a new integrating partner. There's a couple of different ways you can go through that migration process. One is if and when you receive a smart lock PIN code creation failed email. If you get that email, that means you're probably on the old integration. You can scroll down to the bottom of that email, click the button, and it will prompt you through that process to reconnect your Schlage account with Hospitable. When you get that, please do that. We are eventually going to require migration. We don't have a date yet, but when you get the opportunity, please do it. Another way is just by self-serving your way through this migration. So when your account is selected for this migration, you'll see this little banner pop up at the top of your Hospitable account. It's pink. It looks like that on the slide. 58% of you who are on the old integration already have this option. So please, if you see the banner, go through that process of reconnecting your Schlage account. For the rest of you who haven't yet had this option, it is coming. The reason we're moving through this process slowly is because we release it for another small percentage of users. We monitor it super closely. And if we find anything that looks off, any bugs, we jump on that really quickly, squash it, and then move on to release it to the next batch of hosts. So we're hoping to be finished up with this in the next couple of weeks. Our new Schlage integration has been proven to be a lot more stable than the last one. So we're super excited to, over time, get everybody using this new one, because obviously this is such a critical part of your operations and we want you guys to be able to rely on it, quite frankly. Moving on to the next slide, there is something that you will get in return for migrating over to the new integration, and that is this new property access panel. People who have migrated over already have access to this, and it's really great because it just gives you a detailed view of the PIN code and the status of the code at the time. With the new Schlage integration, there's a couple things that are going to work a little bit differently. The main thing to note is that we don't actually send the code to the lock until 3 days before the check-in time. Previously, we sent it right away. So there are some differences there, which is why we've made all the different statuses, the dates and times when you can expect each event to happen, made it really transparent, really clear for you right here. So you can know when you can expect to see it on your Schlage app if you check, and then also when it's actually active for your guests to use and enter the property. Moving on to the next screen, just a little teaser of what's coming up next with smart locks. Once we have this migration done, we are going to continue work on our backup code feature, which I've shared before, but basically we'll be storing backup codes on each of your connected locks. Those codes will be reserved in case of an emergency. If for any reason we're unable to set a code to a lock, we'll know that these backup codes exist and can automatically share that with a guest without you even having to know about that happening. That's really great because you can be having dinner with your family. We'll detect that a code isn't on a lock. We'll send the guest the backup code and they should be able to enter without issue. So that feature already exists for our beta users and it can be toggled on, but we do have some improvements to make. So we'll dedicate time to that after the Schlage migration is complete. We also have SmartThings, our integration that's been sitting in beta for a while. So we are going to wrap a couple of things up and get that out for all of our hosts. And last but certainly not least, we've had a lot of requests for Nuki and Igloo integrations. So we'll soon be starting a private beta with those. If you're a host that uses Nuki or Igloo at any of your properties, please add your vote to the conflux item, which we can post in the chat. That is going to give us all the names of people who want to be a part of this private beta. So when we're ready to start that, we can reach out to you, have your information. And if you'd like to be one of the first people to use that integration and help us test it out, we can contact you about that. All right, next, let's move on to some more improvements. First, channel connectivity improvements. So I'll talk first about Vrbo and then a little bit about booking.com. So as y'all know, we've been very diligent in working hard to improve our Vrbo connection. So several weeks ago, we really improved our logging to help us identify opportunities for improvement. And we were super happy to find a lot of room for improvement. So that's great. Now we're kind of in execution phase, kind of working through our list, making sure that we're actually improving this connection so that you guys don't get logged out as much and that we're seeing more successful syncs over to Vrbo. So one of the things that we've done most recently is make it so that our syncs behind the scenes are communicating more effectively with each other. Previously, sometimes they would overlap and conflict, and Vrbo would see that and forcefully disconnect your account. Now that those syncs are communicating more efficiently with each other, they're able to make the decision like, okay, let's stop, let this one finish, let this one finish, so that we can have a higher chance of keeping your Vrbo account connected. I've seen a couple comments in the chat saying, why is my Vrbo account getting disconnected? This could have been one of the reasons why, and it's exactly why we're working so hard to improve this connection, because we know it's a huge pain for a lot of our hosts to have to reconnect their Vrbo account all the time. So that's a recent fix that we've made, but we do still have a list of things ongoing that we're going to fix with our Vrbo connection, but we are at the point where we can kind of see the light. And we're excited to wrap this up here soon and then move on to booking.com connection improvements. So right now there's a known issue happening with messaging for those who are connected through booking.com. The fix for that is for us to implement the booking.com messaging API. So as soon as Vrbo is done, we're going to get on this booking.com thing and work on that. And that's going to be our next priority. So we're excited to get that out for you guys as well, so that you guys can actually rely on our connected channel partners. All right, let's move on to command bar. I think there's someone who's not muted. If you don't mind muting yourself, that would be great. Okay, so command bar. So we announced last time in Town Hall, we were super excited about a new thing in command bar where we were allowing you to search for conversations based on the guest phone number or reservation code. We're still really excited about that, but maybe we were too excited because we replaced the search bar throughout our product with command bar. So those of you who are used to going in your inbox and using that search bar would click on it and then command bar would pop up. And we were told that it was kind of jarring. And ultimately you didn't get the results that you were used to getting, because with the search bar, you can do all these cool filters. And with command bar, it just frankly works differently. So thank you for sharing that feedback with us. We kind of quickly rolled that back. So we restored our search bar to their original conditions so you can search like you're used to. If you do love command bar and still want to take advantage of that, that's always still going to be available to you. Just hit Command K or Control K if you're on Windows, and that will pull up command bar and you can search in a variety of different ways. One cool improvement that we're going to make, our search bar, like on the inbox, for example, is still pretty slow. And so we've made the decision to leverage some of the really good things about command bar behind the scenes to speed up that search and give better results without taking away the things that you love, like filtering and stuff. So we're still going to be making improvements to the search bar within Hospitable's UI, but not by replacing it entirely by command bar. So thank you again for sharing your feedback on that. We really do love to hear that feedback, and we do roll back some changes sometimes when you tell us that it isn't up to your expectations. So thanks for that. Next, just a little teaser, some stuff we're working on coming soon. We have heard from many of our integrating partners and from many of our hosts that you would love to have more information in our public API. A lot of you guys are using our public API to send data to other products, maybe send data to a spreadsheet to create some statements, whatever it may be. And frankly, we just haven't always included the same information in our public API that we do within Hospitable's own UI. So there's a big gap there of what's kind of what was expected and what we actually shared with you. So we're making an effort to start improving our public API, and that's going to start by, we're going to start that by providing a lot more financials. We're going to start just adding stuff, moving kind of slow, but here soon you will be able to access more financials in the public API, starting with accommodation, the cleaning fee when it's available, subtotal and payout, etc. So this is going to be really beneficial for any of you guys who are integrating with a public API to do things with financials, but especially for those of you who are using other products that integrate with Hospitable, who need to make use of these numbers. So if you're using any like bookkeeping, accounting tools, anything like that integrates with Hospitable, let us know what that is in the chat, because we would love to be able to reach out to them and let them know of this improvement so that they can continue improving their own integration and you get more value out of that at the end of the day as well. Let's see. I think that's all I got. We've got a lot of time for questions. Miles, you want to take it from here?
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, as promised, we have plenty of time for questions today. Thank you, Andrew and Emily, for the speedy updates. Cool. So we have a few questions in the chat, which I think the team are doing a great job of answering. So if anyone is interested in coming on stage and asking a question, now is the time to raise your hand. You can use the reaction button at the bottom. Under there is a raise hand functionality. And there we go, just like that. We have a couple of people coming in. So first off, we have Michael. Hello, Michael. Would you like to ask your question? Hello.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
We can indeed.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. I'm a pretty new user to Hospitable, but really enjoying it thus far. More of a curious question than the practical one, but I love the AI generate message feature. It's like the best implementation I've seen across any product in any industry. So curious if anybody on the team is on that developed that. And yeah, I was just curious what went into that. I suspect it's, OpenAI's API. And yeah, I'm crazy impressed how it scans the whole message chain and comes up with something that literally works 99% of the time. So yeah, curious if anybody can provide any more color there just on how it was implemented and how it's going.
I can tell PC wants to talk so bad.
No. I've lost the bet. My God, how much do I owe now? Emily, go ahead. Share the updates. You're more qualified.
We made a little bet before we started this live stream that PC would talk despite planning not to. So he's lost. Anyways, Yes, so several of us were involved. Obviously, some engineers that are not here. It is ChatGPT 3.5. I mean, honestly, like a pretty simple implementation. We do have some plans to make it better. Right now, we're obviously looking at that particular message with the guest and some listing information, but it doesn't currently have all the context we want to give it. And so that's where you're going to see it go from like accurate most of the time to like even more of the time. So we're excited to make some of those improvements soon. What that might look like is maybe you having the ability to add in some policy information that's property specific. Like, for example, when do you allow early check-ins? We might allow you to just like type that out plain text, like I allow early check-ins if, there wasn't a checkout the same day or whatever it may be. And we could then give that context to ChatGPT so that it can give more accurate information to the guest if they were to ask a policy question like that we don't necessarily want, AI to guess with. All that in mind, there's a reason that we're having this draft replies and not send them automatically. And that's because, well, we just want to be sure, right? So all of these replies right now are a draft. So it'll share the draft with you and you can make changes to that draft before it's sent in case there's any oddities or inaccuracies that you need to get rid of before it's sent to the guest.
Yeah, that's awesome. I won't hog too much more time, but how long did the implementation take, just out of curiosity?
I think we had that. We had one of our top engineers working on that, and we were done in a week, if not 2 weeks.
2
It
days.
was 2 weeks.
I negotiated for costing a top engineer to be working 2 days on a bunch of AI related feature. There's another one that's really good that we don't deploy just yet. I think production time, development of a product on top of the OpenAI GPT API is super simple. And that's the case for every product in the industry. It just is slightly harder to basically make it work accurately. Just some numbers on that, but since the beginning of that release, we have about 50% of drafted replies that are being sent as is without any input. So we obviously are working towards making that 100%. Let's say 90%. If you want to go above and beyond, you have the room and the time to do so right now. But thank you for the great question.
Yeah, unbelievable. Thanks so much, guys. It's awesome.
Yes, thank you very much, Michael. Great. So now moving on to our next person in the queue. So Edward. Hello, Edward.
Hey there, how you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for taking my question. I've been trying to get an answer to this for the past week. We're relatively new to Hospitable, about 7 or 8 months. The learning curve in the beginning was a little challenging for us. Once we went independent, we used to have a managing company, but we really like Hospitable. I've grown accustomed to it. I'm understanding it much better. I wish you had telephone support, but this is great that we can do this now. So now that I know you have these meetings, but my question is, so Booking.com, VRBO, they all collect, and where my condo is, they all collect and pay the state and local taxes. But Airbnb, they have an agreement with the state. It's in South Carolina, but they do not have an agreement with the county. And there's like 7% in hospitality taxes. So I need now, because I'm running independently through you guys, I need to pay those monthly to the local county. The problem is they need to be based, the taxes that I have to pay, they're asking for gross receipts. The problem is your numbers are more, believe it or not, you have a better breakout than Airbnb does. The problem is the only numbers that match are the payout to me, that matches with what you guys have, and the cleaning fees, which those are the only two numbers that match. Other than that, nothing else matches up. In fact, the number that you have on your, where you click details on the reservation, that doesn't even match. So I did record a video last night. It said, it helps to record a video, and it said I'd get an answer within 2 hours because, and I showed you on my recording, I showed you, here's Airbnb, here's what you guys have. And you can clearly see, and I went back and forth just to make sure you guys could see that. But there's no way for me to know which one to rely on because I need gross receipts. And I don't even know, I talked to the state and they said any fees which the guest cannot opt out of, that is what you take as your number for gross receipts. So anyway, I'm just trying to figure out, I want to pay the local taxes. I just have no idea. It's like a moving target. Airbnb, Hospitable, different numbers. And I'm just trying to figure out what 7% of the gross receipts are and how to calculate what they are if they don't match up. And let me add one more thing. Airbnb, when I talked to them for an hour yesterday explaining this, and they said they don't, believe it or not, like I said, you have a better breakdown than they do. They have just a taxes category, but they don't break it down. So they're collecting some taxes, but I don't know which. Anyway, it's all about local taxes for me. And I sent you the video. It said I'd have an answer within 2 hours, but I haven't heard anything back. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, or Edward, I don't know what you go by. I do see that Ray on our team actually did respond to you last night. So take a look and make sure that you are getting that message from us. I think in short, Andrew or Emily might be able to step in and answer more detail, but it's kind of dependent on what we get from the booking channel, what we can display. We're limited on what they send us. And I know for Airbnb, for example, the cleaning fee and the combination fee are kind of mushed together. So that's what we get. I do see that Ray had added all your feedback to internal request for us to kind of make more clarity around what we're getting from different channels and break that out further. So yeah, definitely make sure to take a look and check out response and just make sure that you're seeing that too.
Yeah, and this is actually something that's in progress right now, and we're actually talking to pretty high-level contacts at Airbnb. We don't get the clarity and the visibility that we want into financial data as well. So I think you can expect to have updates from us very soon on improvements for this. It's something that Emily's team is working on. We're working on improving our own API for financial information. So if we get good news back from Airbnb, and we have several kind of as part of our ongoing and yet to be delivered metrics project, which actually is coming, we're gonna this is one of the highest focuses for our company. It's having the best quality financial data you can have. So we will have good news for you soon. But it's kind of frustrating too that Airbnb can't provide that information because that would kind of be the expectation too, right?
Well, I find it amazing, honestly, that you guys provide more breakdown than Airbnb does on their own listing. That seems incredible to me. It's just I need for it to match. So that number, when you go to the particular accommodation, there's a number, and there's about $100 difference on one, and
understood.
I just needed to match up,
Yeah, and there is some specific data we're not getting, like resolution data we're not getting, and that's what we're trying to get from Airbnb. And that might be the difference you're seeing if there's any adjustments to the booking. But definitely you've been heard, and this is something that we are working on. Thanks for that, Edward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Edward. Check out for that response from Ray as well. It sounds like he has sent you something through. So now moving on, next person we have is Wavy. Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, thanks. You. How are you?
I'm doing good. So my question is a little off topic. It's more so in terms of, I guess, career opportunities at you guys' company. So I pretty much manage about 30 short-term rental properties remotely all over the country and in Tulum, Mexico. I started using Hospitable probably maybe 6 to 9 months ago, and I've gotten pretty proficient with it. My question is, do you all have any career opportunities in terms of, are you guys hiring inside your company for, like-minded individuals like myself?
We
Sure.
actually have We have a pretty
Go
good
ahead,
track
Andrew.
record of hiring. We have a pretty good track record of hiring from our customer base. I don't think we have a lot of positions open now. Yeah, Emily was a customer on this call. I don't know if anyone else on this call. Kevin was a customer that got hired.
Kevin was a customer. He still is the customer and a property manager. Brian in the sales team, also a host, and property manager, and Ethan in APAC in Australia is was also a customer first. So we can do that.
We also do affiliates. So, if you want to, drive business to Hospitable, that's something you can consider. There's referral codes that are also options. But keep your eye out on the job postings. Like I said, I don't think we have a lot open right now. But we have a good track record of hiring from our customer base.
Hey, perfect. I'm definitely interested. I've been doing this about 18 months now, scaled to 30 properties. I have an extensive background in this and also systems and data analyst. So I'll definitely be on the lookout.
Cool. Thank you. Congrats on the progress on your business.
One more thing. And I was featured on Bigger Pockets podcast about a month ago, episode 420, and I shouted you guys out as my channel manager as well.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Love the enthusiasm.
Thank you very much. So now the next person in our queue is Ignat, welcoming you on stage. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
We can indeed.
All right. Hey, guys. Thank you. First of all, thank you for so much that you guys are doing. Your company's putting out. Pierre, thank you for putting this together. I don't know what I would do, how I'd manage my business without Hospitable. Hospitable is the core brain, is the command central for the operation. So I really appreciate everything that you guys do. I appreciate this. I appreciate the support that you guys provide. So just want to say, first of all, I want to say thank you, but I do have a couple of questions too. So question number one, when we send it through, when a customer books direct, it would be nice if when we're communicating with them, they're also getting an SMS notification. And I know I've submitted that to support, and support said that for now it's email only. How hard or easy is it possible to implement SMS in addition to email notification when it's for direct customers where on the platform, on the Hospitable platform?
It's a question of priorities, and I replied, I think, in chat to you. It's definitely on our roadmap, and I think there's some interesting things that can be done with SMS. But if you were for the full town hall, we got a lot of things on the pipeline right now, and we're trying to do a pretty good job prioritizing based on the feedback from our hosts. And pretty exciting features coming. Doesn't leave a lot of time to get SMS in the next. I think we're looking at about at least 2 months of roadmap we covered in the presentation today. So it's not on the near term releases as far as I can tell you today.
Gotcha. Is that something I can upvote on the upvote system for you guys?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you go to Conflux and we do pay attention to those. We'll track them. We'll add them to our tickets as we're working. And once it gets done, we'll update you when it's ready. And the upvotes, we do take that into consideration.
Gotcha. So is there already one I'm not in front of a computer right now. Do I look for SMS notification on direct?
Yeah, you can search just SMS and you'll probably find a couple tickets there. One of them is probably related to direct. But I imagine anything we do with direct would have some general improvements for all channels.
Yeah, just for the efficiency with communication with the customer, because if we send them an email, it goes into their email, and they may or may not get it efficiently.
No.
All right.
No, I'm not questioning you. I agree.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. All right. Another thing on the AI, it would be nice if the AI could train on the existing answers that we provide. Like I train my VAs to a specific template, right? First, we thank the customer for asking the question, then we answer the question, and then we being nice together, right? We're kind of sandwiched there, whatever it is that they're asking. I've noticed that the AI is not recognizing that template, and it just does its own thing. It would be nice if we could train, if you guys could open up the existing answers to customers to the OpenAI API.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really, sorry, Andrew, that's a really great suggestion. We've talked a lot internally about how our questions feature overlaps with AI and those automated draft messages. And there's clearly a lot of overlap. So one thing we've talked about doing, which is not transparently not in the works today, but we do have plans for in the future, is allowing those features to kind of be meshed together. And we have the ability already to detect what your message is about and what the guest message was about. And so we can say, okay, let's take the last 5 times any of your guests asked a question about X, and let's see what you replied those 5 times. So we have your last 5 replies, and we can kind of send those to ChatGPT and say, hey, can you summarize these replies and suggest this as a draft answer to a question or the draft response next time you try to generate a response with AI. So it's a great idea. It's something we know we need to do to kind of make sure that those features are helping each other out instead of moving further apart, because there's definitely a lot of overlap there. I even saw in the chat somewhere earlier that a guest was saying like, thanks, I really love the pool. And instead of they went to like generate a reply with AI, but instead our questions feature jumped in and answered a question about a pool incorrectly. So clearly overlap, a lot of room for us to fix that and make that work better. Also, just a quick note, if you ever see any incorrect answers or answers to questions sent at the wrong time, please do write into our support. We train those constantly. And so we can tell it to not answer that next time. So we can kind of continuously be improving it and making it a little bit better every day.
Gotcha. So I could send what AI generated and then what we actually answered.
Not necessarily what AI generated, but if a question is ever answered via the question feature at the wrong time.
Gotcha. Maybe maybe instead of last 5, let's look at the last 100, or let's look at all of them, entire history. Just a suggestion. Yeah. I don't know. I know you guys are going to make final decisions on what makes the most sense for the platform. Okay, cool. But we could train them on the previous answers in the entire history, because and if it's also could be segregated by the property, because they can ask about the same pool on 2 different properties. It might be 2 different, and it might be 2 different features related to the property. So if AI could search for that property, last 100 answers, and then give its response.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely look at that and see kind of how far back we need to go in order to have the best accuracy for you guys.
Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you for doing everything that you guys do. Thank you for providing this platform.
Thank you very much for the kind words. Great. So just before we move on to a couple of people with their hands raised, we have a question on YouTube. I'm just going to bring up here. So Chris asked, any update on adding variations to message rules to avoid sending the same message to a repeat guest? Don't know if that's a feature request we've had before. Chris seems to think so. I've not heard about it. But any comment on that, Emily, Andrew?
I think that came up on previous town halls, and it's a great idea. We haven't made any progress on that yet, but it has been recorded, and I think we will. We can look at that. It's not on the near term roadmap though. Sorry.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Hopefully, Chris is satisfied with that, and I'm sure he'll let me know in the comments. Okay, so next up we have Nada. Welcome on stage.
Yes, hello. Hi. Yes, hello. I was unmuting. So I got a question on direct, probably for Andrew. So I set up one of my properties here to test out, and the layout of the pictures. I know you said you guys have a feature now to sort those photos, but the challenge that I'm having here, 1, I don't know how to sort them out. 2nd, by default, there are pictures chosen for the accessibility section and then the good to know section on the menu. And how do I change those photos?
Sure. Softball question. Easy. Okay. So sorting pictures. Do you know how to find your property details where the images are loading in Hospitable?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going to click on property in the left sidebar menu. You're going to pick any property that you want to look at, and then you're going to click on the details. You're going to see the images there. If you click on edit for that section, that photo section, you're going to be able, your cursor will turn to like a 4-arrow cursor. And that means you can drag and drop images now to resort them. And any order you put them in, that's going to control the sequencing of your images. If you want to specify the actual placement for those, you can click on the menu option for that photo, it'll be the three-dot icon up in the top right corner. Click on that, and you're going to have an option to set a tag for a placement. So you'll see like set as my image for accessibility, set as my image for neighborhood. And that's how you would set the individual placements within the site. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nada. So now moving on to JT. Hello, welcome on stage, JT.
Hello, everybody. My question is, oh my gosh, my mind went blank. Will you please come back to me? I just totally had a brain freeze.
Sure, no worries.
Sorry about that.
No problem. So whilst we wait for JT to figure out his question, does anyone else like to ask a question? We don't have any hands raised at the moment, so feel free to jump in if you think we weren't going to get to you. It looks like we've got plenty of time. There we go. Manuel, I'm going to invite you on stage now to talk.
Hello, I just had a question about direct promo codes. Is a feature going to be rolled out that allows for a percentage discount? And I just joined the meeting, so sorry if that question was already asked, because right now it only allows for flat amount discounts.
Yep, it was the last town hall that would have been relevant for this. So we talked in the last town hall about how it's kind of complicated and why we didn't release it in the initial release. When we show a percentage promo code, we wanted the guests to be able to sum that on their own. And if we're bundling fees together, so we're bundling kind of fees into a nightly rate, we even want to increase the bundling of that because our hosts have told us they want to be able to offer direct as a no fee option. And so once we do that, when you offer a 10% discount, if you want it to work like Airbnb works, where it's only on the nightly rate, and you want the guest to be able to sum that, it gets complicated. So basically, we're stuck in that. How do we make the UI work for a percentage-based promo code? We're going to do it. We'll figure it out, but it wasn't something that would make sense in the initial release. So we just kind of punted on that for now.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So next up, with movement in this queue, people are jumping on and off. So next up we have Mandy. Hello, Mandy.
Hi, guys. I have to say I'm new to all of this. I've only been in this for a week. But one of the questions that I have, a lot of our owners are trying to access their calendar for their property. How do I send that to them?
I think I can take this one, if that's okay. So first of all, hi, Mandy. Thank you for joining us.
Hi. Thank you.
Essentially, no worries. Essentially, there is an option under settings and user management where you can add secondary users into your account and you can decide what you want them to see. So for example, the property owners can see just their properties. There is no need for them to see everyone else's, right?
Right.
So again, you can hit settings in the lower left corner, user management, and invite users. You will see full and custom access, and you just pick which one suits that property manager.
Okay, and do they see like the actual people who are staying in their unit?
They will be able to see. Go ahead.
Or does it just give them like a calendar view? Because the problem is a lot of them say they want to come stay, but they have no idea if it's available or if it's not available. And then when I looked at it, it kind of looked like it actually sends them the guests who are staying in their properties information. So is that what they see?
So once you add them and you let them view the calendar, you can also allow them to update availability, meaning they will see the calendar. They will also see the people who are staying. So they will see the reservations. They can see where the gaps are, and then they can block it for themselves and let you know.
Awesome. Okay, great.
No worries.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Take care.
Thank you very much. And it looks like JT is back. JT, have you remembered your question?
Yes,
Hello,
yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Fire away.
And pardon me for asking you to do my homework and research, but I just haven't been able to take time to figure this out yet. So I love how Hospitable replies to booking request, all the automated messages and everything. My question is it Airbnb also sending them a message and can turn it off? Because my fear is they're getting peppered with messages. And I just asking in general, I'll be happy to go figure out how to do it on VRBO and Airbnb, but am I of the right assumption that Airbnb is sending automated thank you messages? We received your reservation. We look forward to you coming, whatever, etc.
Yeah, hey, GT, Jen here. Yeah, some platforms do have some kind of automated messaging rules. For Airbnb, for example, you can set up messaging rules for events, right? Like someone just booked. We obviously do recommend turning those off on those platforms so that your guests aren't getting messages from Airbnb and also from us. We help you set way more dynamic content than what those channels can send. So yeah, I thought I knew where to check this on Airbnb, and I'm looking at, they have help articles on how you can change that. So I'd look on VRBO and Airbnb, search their help content for things like, automated messages. I'm sure you can find articles on that.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. That was it.
Great. Thank you very much, JT. Glad we could help you there. So next up, we have Blair. Hello, Blair. Welcome on stage.
Thanks so much. I have to say, as everyone else has iterated already, these broadcasts and opportunities to connect are critical and vital, not only in helping us with the platform, but also in forging the relationship that your clients have with the Hospitable team. So thank you for doing this. 4 really quick bullet points that I was going to just bring up. I'll just itemize them, and then you can respond accordingly, however you choose. The question that somebody presented earlier regarding SMS messaging. Sometimes SMS can be a little bit complicated and difficult to implement on a broad scale. But has Hospitable considered implementing anything like Facebook Messenger or using WhatsApp? Because those things, those integrations tend to be a lot more easy, and people are using those on a regular basis, and it's a quick response. The second question would be, are there any chat forums for people like us that are calling in and other users? I heard somebody say that they put in a question and they didn't get a response in what they felt was a timely manner. And I think a lot of people have encountered that. And of course, we have to be respectful to the time zones and all of those things. We can't expect people to be sitting in front of their computers 24 hours a day. But it would be really great on a global basis if there was some kind of chat forums. Unless I'm totally mistaken, I haven't been able to find anything. I did find something, a community chat in Facebook for Hospitable, but it doesn't seem to be used very much at all. So there might be another way to implement that. The third question was with respect to something as simple as guidebook that they implement with Airbnb, et cetera. Is there, I don't know whether I've overlooked it, but is there a way for us to create guidebooks in Hospitable that we could send out to our guests on an as needed basis, or for things like restaurant recommendations or things to see, et cetera? And then the last question, of course, would just be some feedback for me. I am gripped by fear of doing anything with a direct booking, simply because with Airbnb, you've got air cover in the event there's any damage. So I'm just wondering if anybody has any recommendations based on your interactions with other Hospitable users that are doing direct booking. How are they protecting themselves? And those are my 4 points. Thanks so much.
Does anyone take notes? Okay, let's start backwards because the last question was for me. Regarding direct booking, you sound like you're a good fit for direct premium, which is what the product we made for people that are having the same kind of fears that you're having. So we take a lot of steps to do some of the risk mitigation that an OTA provides, right? So we are the merchant of record on those transactions. This is something actually we've been working with a lot internally because we've seen a couple chargebacks recently due to fraud, and we eat those chargebacks. That's us losing money. We still pay out our host on those chargebacks, and that's something we're doing for you. So we're out there, and we're the ones that have implemented AutoHost as part of that booking. We're looking at people's IDs. We're looking at this like crazy financial DNA that the payment processor is providing, trying to make sure that you don't get a fraudulent booking. We give you the results from the auto host. So you're seeing the risk profiles that auto host has picked up when they do a guest vetting for every single reservation that comes through direct premium. We're also doing the damage protection, which is similar to air cover, in that you have $5 million of damage protection on every booking. So if something does happen, we've got the guest holding their ID, we validate their ID, we pass that information to Superhog. Superhog is there in case you have something happen, and they can interject themselves and provide the damage protection for you, so you get a payout for those damages. Absolutely heard. Like, that is, you are the person that we built direct premium for. So that's there to help ease your concerns. Who's taking the next point?
I can do 3 and 2. We'll work backwards. Thank you, Blair. All great questions. For guidebooks, we do not have a guidebook ourselves, but there are lots of folks out there who do make really awesome guidebooks. I know Touch Day is one that a lot of hosts really love, and that would allow you to create this unique link for a guest, and you can include links in your messaging rules so you can send someone to that guidebook when they book with you. Anyone else, feel free to, if you have other programs that work well, but I've heard good things about Touch Day. And then for support specifically, I think you're probably coming in an interesting time where we are now back, like 90% back to where we want to be, which is chats either live or within a couple hours. We actually do have a team that is staffed across the globe and almost 24 hours. We have less folks on the weekend, but yeah, we have teams here in the US, in Europe, in APAC region. We know our hosts are all over the world, so we also want to be all over the world. So chat us from your account. We will get back as soon as we can. We can't guarantee it's always going to be live. We don't have a huge team, but it often is. And if not, it should be pretty darn fast. I think what you were probably hearing maybe on the World Wide Web is that we weren't like that. In the last couple of months, we had lost some members on the team, and we were struggling to get back to where we wanted to be, but we're there now. I think you probably either heard that or felt a little bit of that, and we want to be live. And the Facebook group that you found is a great resource too to tap into. Our hosts are super, just as you're seeing here in the town hall, want to share what they learn. So yeah, definitely tap into that too. And I don't remember what the first question is, so someone else.
That was WhatsApp. The thing I wanted to add, and so Emily wants to be there answering WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger as other channels. And I think that's a fantastic opportunity to repeat that. If you want to contact a support team, nothing of that is particularly secret. You go to help on your product and you click contact support, and it basically will start a window for you to start a live chat. And basically you'll be in contact with several teams. Sorry, Jen? Oh,
you
no,
can
it's
chat us from any
everywhere.
page, just bottom right corner, hit that little chat icon. That's where we are.
Yeah. Yep. You see, that's why I should stay silent. That's why people are taking bets for me to stay silent, and I'm still not able to that. And also on the guidebooks, you could also do your own. That's what I used to do, but basically store your own thing on a Google spreadsheet and then share the link or share the PDF or stay on a Dropbox or Google Drive to share that with your guests. But definitely products like Touch Day go above and beyond because they basically are going to adjust the names and all. There is a message from Jerry on the chat to say, please train the new members of the support team in the mold of Jen. That's the job of Jen. Definitely. Emily, what about WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and other integrations, as an alternative to text messages?
Yeah, I love that message from Jerry. We do all love Jen. Yes, we have received the same feedback about leveraging WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and all that stuff in addition to SMS. It's kind of the same answer as what Andrew said earlier. It's not that we don't want to do it. I think we do have plans to integrate more things like this in the future. It's just a priority and resources game at this point. So we've got a pretty full plate right now, but in the future, we do hope to integrate some of these things. So keep upvoting the feedback.hospitable.com so you can stay updated on the progress. And Andrew, did you want to add to that?
No, I will. Okay. Probably shouldn't bring up booking.com at this moment, but it was in the chat. Someone asking about messaging for booking.com. And speaking of priorities, booking.com did make some changes to their API. And there are, depending on where the guest is messaging from, we are not going to receive those messages sometimes. So that is a high impact issue. And that is one of the priorities that we're working on now. So the booking.com issues are coming. We're going to have a nice fix for that. A lot of improvements coming for that connectivity, and that has to take priority, unfortunately, over some of the nice to have features that are still great feedback from you guys. So thank you for mentioning that.
Great. I think we got to everything there, Blair. So thank you very much for those questions. And now we just have one more hand raised. Edward asked the question earlier, but I'm just wondering if they have one more. Hello, Edward.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was actually working on my Hospitable account, and I was doing something afterwards. And this is just a question. What do you do for people that have a cancellation? A person gave me a 2 days cancellation notice. It was a booking.com. Obviously their policy is 14 days, no refund. And she just appealed to me, the guest appealed to me and said, will you either give me a partial refund, full refund, or a booking at another time? Of course, she said she was disabled, so I agreed to give her 6 days at another time to be used within a year. So I blocked it off on my calendar, but I can't seem to figure out how to set up messages, schedule messages, because it's May of 2024. How can I schedule messages for her? Because normally if it comes through one of the other channels, those messages already scheduled, but I can't. I need to set those same messages to go out to her for like a. It looks like a private booking, but I'm giving it to her complimentary.
Cool. Yeah, I got you, Edward. You can create a manual booking on Hospitable. So if you go, it's on the top right of your inbox, your calendar, you'll see a little add booking option, and you can add that booking into Hospitable. Just add that guest contact information, and we can create all the same messagings for a manual booking, so long as your messaging rules also apply to manual bookings, and we can get those scheduled for whenever that reservation is.
So that's a better way than just blocking out those dates.
Yeah, so creating a manual booking will allow us to do all the things we would for any other booking, like messaging rules, if you have smart lock integrations, if you're using tasks to make sure your cleaners know when there's a booking, that allows us to do all of that as well.
The last question is, you guys were mentioning Schlage. I jumped into the call right in the beginning when you were talking about Schlage, and the young lady said that they're going to implement that for everybody. That doesn't mean everybody has to have Schlage locks, correct? In the future?
Yes, everyone must have a smart lock. No. If you do want to connect, go ahead, Emily.
Sorry, Jen. Yeah, sorry, I was unclear with that for sure. We have two different Schlage integrations kind of existing side by side right now. One's an old one, which we're having everybody migrate off of onto a new one. What I should have said is that if you're on the old Schlage integration, we are going to require that you move to the new Schlage integration. You'll be notified of that. If you're like, which one am I on? It doesn't matter. Pay attention to your email. You'll be notified if you are one of those people. If you're using another integration with a different lock, it doesn't apply to you at all. So don't worry about it.
Thanks for everything you guys do. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Edward. So I think we're gonna have to start wrapping up soon. We do have another raised hand from Blair, but I don't know if that is actually remaining from before, and I forgot to take it down. So I'm just going to give Blair the opportunity, just in case. Any other questions?
That's very kind of you and very generous, but no, you answered all my questions. Thanks so much. I just wanted to clarify that when I was talking about the SMS and WhatsApp and Facebook integrations, that it was more not interacting with your team, but interacting with guests.
Yep. Understood.
So thanks very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Miles, we had one question about the partnership with Extend Team in chat. Can you comment on that? Yeah.
Sorry, I've not seen. Can you read the question out to me? Sorry.
Just if there was any more details on the integration or the partnership with Extend Team for like virtual assistants.
Yeah, so that's not necessarily an integration. essentially, Extend team have a number of virtual assistants that are kind of trained in using the Hospitable platform. So we just want to kind of make sure that people are aware of that functionality and that service that's available. If you're interested in looking to outsource some of the management of your Hospitable platform, Extend team is a great solution, and obviously you're welcome to go and check them out. That was more just of a heads up that is available, not necessarily any kind of technical integration there, but worthwhile going and checking out their services if you do need a bit of a helping hand at managing the software. Cool. Thank you for calling that out, Andrew. Okay, so I think that's all we have time for today. I'm going to give PC the final opportunity to break the bet if he wants to kind of say any final words, just because he's already broken.
I'm going to let Jen give the final words, because we kind of, she betted our entire yearly compensation that basically I would not talk, and I failed on the first question. So Jen, any inspiring words?
Well, that was actually very about that, but I will take your yearly compensation. I'm good with that. Thank you everyone for joining us. It was so lovely to chat with you all and get more time to hear your questions. So thank you everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are.